and Bobby and the rest of us, we are not psychic. We cannot read your mind. We do not know what you don't know. We do not know what you know. The same thing goes to us. Follow me? Okay, so that's just 1 minute. So before we start, I would like to invite Ian again to recite our Fatiha for today. This is our session for today. Okay? Ian?
Astaghfirullah إلى درجة النبي المصطفى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين.
Thanks, Ian. So the three students is still with you today. Okay, leave the mic task. So there is still Ian, there is still me, still the same picture, still the same profile. Then we have Bobby, still the same. And then today we're gonna add one more mentor with you.
Special guest.
Who? Is it a special guest?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a special guest mentor today, just to share with you guys. He is so eager to share in terms of what he has in his mind in relations to business operations. So Ian gonna do a recap after that, and then we're gonna have another project management TVP, and then we're gonna break and then break for lunch, and I will take the rest of the afternoon with you. Is that okay?
Yes.
So I would like to welcome Calvin. The picture doesn't do justice. Good morning. No apologies required. We are so appreciated that you are here with us. Thank you. So Calvin,
Introduce
would you like to
yourself.
introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. My name is Kelvin. Of course, you can see over here, yes, I am indeed an independent HSE advisor and consultant. I'm self-employed for the last 2 decades. Yeah. So survived through thick and thin in terms of business. I went through partnerships, so proprietorships, and of course now, back into another partnership when it comes to the consultancy. So I'm also an adjunct lecturer at Samana College of Business. So as I'm speaking today, yes, I've got 60 students waiting for me in the college. They are completing their degree in business management and marketing. Yeah. So that's the final year. Okay, what I did is, yes, I've got a great passion for workplace health and safety, and I do actually. I'm also involved with the National Road Safety Council. This is where I do my sharings on safety to everyone. Alright, so I think that's about it, and I'll talk more
Are you
later.
sure you don't want to say anything good about yourself?
No,
I
always prefer to be humble, yeah. I always prefer to be humble, yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, Calvin. So we have Calvin who likes to talk about safety in terms of business operations. Yeah. So just to recap, yesterday our house, you remember what is our house rule?
Yes.
What is it? Definitely Vegas. Definitely. So again, like I said, listen, I put it there, silent, listen for a reason. If you studied, it's the same letters, it's just different ways. Listen, one person talk at one time. Follow me? So when one person talk, the rest of you listen. So again, I need full participation for you. Like I said, we are not psychic here. We are here to make everybody fruitful sessions. For today, another day with us, and tomorrow will be a different mentor. Speak your mind again and again. I always say this, speak your mind, because we are not psychic. We are not psychic. Remember that you need to let out what is in your head, what is in your heart, related to the session, not too hard for your own personal thing, okay? Otherwise, we need to find Ian with us. Yes. Remember to share your stories. By sharing your stories, you also share our stories, what are the challenges and solutions throughout the story. Storytelling is the most critical element in any trainings, in any issues that we have in our life. Yeah? And then be honest. So then we're going to go Vegas, openness, be honest, be open about what we had, otherwise you will not learn. Don't try to keep things to yourself. Don't compete. Try to find opportunity to collaborate with each other. Don't be shy. We have shy people in the room, especially Ian, but he can always come out in the front. And Moby is the most shyest one among us today. So respect, give him. You give your respect, then you get your respect. Remember the rules. One person talk at one time, one person talk, the other rest of you listen. Then we go to Vegas, Pangira. You go to Vegas weekend?
Well, whatever happens, Vegas is Vegas. Whatever that we eat.
What about Brazil, Pangira?
Now, coming back to the context of the class, what stay in the class? What happens in the class? Stays in the class. Collaboration. Collaboration is critical, especially for business owners. Don't compete, don't see each other as competitors. Okay? Importantly, have fun. When the music is in the room, stop everything, try to do, whatever makes you happy. And stay positive, enjoy life. Self-care is very important. I know you guys are busy people to make money. I know you're very busy people with all the work that you have tons of work in front of you. But don't ever forget self-care. Alright? Again, simple rules. Remember, rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3. This rule, keep it to you, it benefits you. If it's really meaningful to you, keep it. If you feel it doesn't, it's okay. It's not going to kill us. Right? It's just a rules that we need to have in our life. What I'm trying to say, you need to go after what you want in order to have it. Follow me? Especially business owners. Ask question, then you will have the answer. If we don't know the answer, there is a door. You can also get out, coming back and revert to you what the answer is. Like somebody said, use ChatGPT. We have all those kind of things, yeah? And make sure break out of your comfort zone. Now this is something I really like to have for today. I still see some people sit where they like to sit. No worries. We can either do that for you or you do it yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Don't sit with the same people you sit with yesterday. No judging. Okay? If it means something to you, take it. The format is still the same. This is how our format was. That's what we did yesterday. We're going to have an open and Q&A sharing, just to get something out of you and out of us. We had a discussion and we had a class training with presentation slides. Now, before I call Ian to do a recap for us, I just want to put your attention at the back of the whiteboard. We have an expectation day 1 already. Now we want you to have what is your expectation for day 2. And then we also have a question at the other side. So one of your things to do is what is your expectation for today? And good morning. What do you want to say, darling? So we had a question also. Now, this question, we wanted to give you more opportunity to ask questions, challenges, or find solutions. Put it in a post-it note if you don't want to ask in front of us, or then put it, place it there. Question, okay? Follow me? So today, just to give you a heads up what today is happening, we're going to have a goal setting for automation. So the whole subject for today is goal setting for automation. But the subsets of this today, there are 3 sets. Number 1 is assessing current business operations and project management. This will be done by Ian and Calvin later. And then we're going to have Bobby identifying the pain points and areas for improvement, more about discussion activities. And the last afternoon, the whole afternoon will be with me in terms of goal setting. Now, 2 minutes, set your expectation for today, having known that these are the topics for today. When I say set your
Process as
expectation,
yesterday.
the post-it notes is in front of you.
Post-it notes. Right, nicely, yeah.
Right, and please, because we are seasoned people, we really need to read.
But if your handwriting is hopelessly terrible, don't worry, I'm worse, so I can read yours. Post-it notes.
Post-it notes is on your table. This is the topic for today. What is it that you want? So in terms of questions, not necessarily, guys, the questions, post-it note, not necessarily to cover this, but we can ask other questions. If you have time, we will address them. Yeah?
What do you expect today? What do you want to learn today?
What do you want to learn today? What do you want to know today? What is it that you want to do today? Making money is the wrong question to ask to trainers. Trainers don't make money.
That's a lie. That is a lie. Training here, no money, yes. But we do make money from training.
Who makes money from training? So once you've done your expectation, to put it on the whiteboard so that we can continue with the next session.
Expectations. What do you want to get out of today?
So for example, I want Ian and Hunter to smile more. So that's going to be an expectation, yes, Ian?
And expectation.
That's easy, we just smile. There is the expectation. So in 10, 9,
First one, you get some
first one, okay, the first one will get a prize ticket to London.
Whoa.
The first one.
London man na
Okay,
niya.
just today.
London
So
job.
the first one to put on the whiteboard will win a ticket to London.
Oh.
You got?
Just see how this one goes.
Don't you want to?
We are not in So the first one to put on the whiteboard will win a ticket to London. And the last one to put on the whiteboard will be the person who will pay the ticket to London for the So remember guys, I have day 2 expectation and questions part. So we want this question to make sure that you put it in the right part. Okay? So ready when you are guys? No pressure, so we can finish at 6 today.
Nah,
And I will treat you.
that's the banyak tiket backers.
No.
Emery.
You done?
Yes.
Are we good?
Structure.
Oh, can I see the third one? Goal setting for improvement, that's concession and development. Maybe the others after lunch.
What did you
Remember back to those days, what did they put that? He was found guilty, you know, put a dog selling it.
Are we good? Who is the last person? The first person is Maisara, right? So Maisara, congratulations, you have a ticket to London. And then you can claim it to the last person.
It's $1 off, it's $1. Yeah. So it's at the end. You know, or that will be practice. Oh, yeah.
Anytime you're ready, no pressure.
I do it for some of my kids. So, you just see.
So you're the last one? Am I? And you?
Yes.
So make sure you pay tickets to Maisara, okay? Tickets to London someone.
I think we're missing one.
You're missing one?
Oh, thank you.
Tell them, remember, you will be the last one. Don't stand there.
Sliding away.
So you are the last one, am I? I have no idea. Maisara, you know when to bring the ticket. So, that's the expectation. Thank you very much for setting your expectation to us. We will address it anytime throughout the day. If you feel you do not address your expectation, be honest. Remember, be honest, tell us. Don't be nice. We don't like nice people because nice people doesn't give honest feedback. Now, if you don't have honest feedback, you cannot improve yourself. Okay? Cool. Now we're gonna start the session where Calvin.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, sorry. Recap, sorry. Ian.
All right,
Do a recap with Ian.
Okay, everybody turn this way. Don't let the pillar get away. So just a quick recap. Fakru mentioned a few things. Thanks Fakru for doing the brief recap. But I want to make sure that we capture everything in a single scoreboard. So we did business operations yesterday. What does that mean? What is business operations? Remember? Daily activities. Yeah. Okay. Why do we do that? Yeah. So to generate. Yeah. To make profit. Or generate profit. Okay. Now, in order to make our business operations organized so that we reach a goal, what do we need? Remember this? We need a
Business operation plan.
business plan. Oops. We need a, sorry. We need an operations plan. Okay? And an operations plan is part of your business plan. Okay, so I hope that puts everything in context that you need a business plan before you even think about doing your operations, business operations. Right, we also talked about yesterday business processes. Business process is what? What's the definition? The steps. Steps. Yeah, the steps done to achieve goals.
Ian, so you know we have different colors, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because
Well, let's check it.
the one I took didn't work. So in order to the daily activities are actually business processes, so that's how that's linked. Okay, and business processes, there were 4 main ones that we discussed yesterday. Do you remember what these were? Okay, hold on. People, process, and technology that comes afterwards. But one of them was, I'll just start here, was production. Any other business process? We have 4 main ones we discussed yesterday.
Marketing and sales.
Yeah, marketing and sales.
Human resource.
And we've got others, supply chain, SCM, we got QA, QMS, quality management, QA, QC, and many others, right? Now, for instance, in finance management, what do we need to make sure that the business process is run properly? We need PowerPoint slides, PPT, process, people, and technology. I think in terms of technology, because when we say technology, we tend to think about IT. Yeah, this could also be tools. What tools do we need to make sure that our business process runs properly? Right. So the tools, like if you're doing sales in the shop, you need a cashier machine. You need racks to store your stuff in, and that sort. Okay. And business processes are represented by what we term as workflow, yeah, or flowcharts. And this could be your start, and then your activity. You probably have a question, a clarification, yes or no, and then you have a feedback loop. You have another set of activities, and then you usually have the end of the process. So this is a simple graphical form. It could be in the form of procedures. It could be a sort. Right. Now, we have a working pen. That's a different color.
We have so many.
But not really.
Orange, ada hopefully a working black pen.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's what we did yesterday. We then looked into also. We wanted to make sure that the workflow is always giving us the correct results that we wanted, the goals. So we wanted to do analysis, which then led to improvement. Yeah? So how do we do analysis of business processes? Remember? How did we do analysis? Yes, you sort of measure performance and you analyze that performance. Are we actually doing okay? If not, what do we need to do better? So we actually do an examination of the overall process. We do an evaluation examination of each part of that workflow or work process. Yeah? And then we derive the improvement. Say, for instance, here you said, "Oh, this didn't work so well. What do we need to improve?" And today we will be discussing, to make sure that the improvement is actually achieved, you need actions or action items. And this will be taught part and parcel this afternoon, that HR will talk about using it, also using SMART. Okay? Now, one of the things that brings us to Kelvin today, who's going to talk about one of the business process is health, safety and environment, or health and safety management. Okay? And the fundamental of health and safety management is to make sure that no one gets hurt. And hurt here is examples of being hurt or harmed, having injuries, yeah, accidents, damages to your equipment if there's an accident, damages to your tools, and even fatalities. Yeah, so hurt means it is hurting your business. And we'll touch upon that. If you get an accident, it will affect your process, it will affect your people, it may affect your technology. Right? So that's what we did yesterday, and we'll do some today. And one of the things that we will also do today is what we call as project management.
Here I have blue.
Huh?
I have blue here.
Yeah, blue. Alright.
Look at.
My OCD comes in different color. Sorry.
Thank you very much. So with project management, where does that fall into business operations? Where do you think project management falls? It is different to business plan. It is separate from business plan. Business plan talks about the overall activities and goals of our business. Project is specific to particular projects. You could have project 1. Yeah. You could have another project is specific to the completion of those projects. And personally, I feel that project management is part of your business process. You may have certain projects you want to do, like one of my current project is opening up this cafe. Yeah? It's a business operations where in our business plan we wanted to expand cafe operations into a coffee shop. Yeah? So the project is now that expansion. Yeah? So we'll talk more about that later on. And now, if there are any questions for this, yes. About
One second.
Oh, okay.
So I'd like to ask if this class we will be taught about how to set our big goals.
No. Yes, we could discuss that later. Yes.
Because if someone asks you like where you want to be in the future, and then I know what I want, but I'm not sure if this manageable, achievable or not. And I would like to have
My
more.
goals, yeah.
We can explain
We'll
the
talk about this
afternoon.
afternoon. Yeah,
Just keep your question.
yeah, we write the question and put it
Then
there.
for reminders,
Okay.
Caroline,
That's-
yes.
That's part of,
Smart
Smart
goals.
goals, yeah. and also it's part of what HR and I do teach is being effective people. Alright? Yes?
What is HSC management emphasize on companies but not really on the government sector?
Okay, I'll keep that for a second.
Kelvin,
Sounded the same.
take note of the questions.
Private companies, but
Maybe you could.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelvin will talk about that.
Perhaps I will cover that.
Take note of
This
that.
will cover that. We'll take note of that question.
Sure.
I'm eager to answer, but we'll leave it with the topic. Okay, any other clarification or questions? Right, so I hope this storyboard covers what we have done. And probably later on you could do the same recap of what we have done this day. Yes, Jen?
Well, my question is, as a startup or as a newbie, trying to learn all this business process, right? What is the most streamlined or efficient way to be able to capture all this and practice it in a startup? So, for example, maybe how do we form a HR team, marketing, sales team? At the startup, it may be one person doing 3 jobs.
Yes.
Then slowly you form into a team
Another team, yeah.
where you have 10% in the staff, and maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, excellent. I think that comes with the
So
improvements.
just,
If you could just help to write it down, we'll capture that.
so just to let you guys know, what we have for masterclass today and tomorrow from these topics for the next 3 days. What bmen is doing with this masterclass is a teaser of the whole concept of business operation. So it's not a full spectrum of what business operations are, what project management are, because we cannot cover the whole of it within one video today. Now, for example, business operation on its own is a different training. Project management, we run 2 days training on project management per se, so it covers a lot spectrum of project management. The same thing with HR, like what you say, how do you form a teams in terms of operation management. It's a whole spectrum of different training. So what we're trying to do here for those 2 days that we are with you, we're trying to cover as many T's as we can, and we want to bring whatever in our head based on our experience together here. So it's only a teaser. So that's why we have that business coaching clinics and the question Q&A. So you can uncheck what we have, then you can apply it a little bit more. But we cannot give you the whole spectrum because it's all different trainings altogether. So for example, in HR, we do people operational excellence. So I run it for 2 days. So it's purely about people, how to manage it and how to manage difficult conversation is another training for 2 days I did. So those kind of things is just a teaser coming out of this. So, but feel free to ask questions, but you can answer as much as we can with it for these 2 days. Okay?
So maybe for example like your cafe, right? So it's a business process ops, maybe you have 5 or 10. So what is a snapshot of how that management or
Okay.
business plan or would look like?
Yeah. So the business plan actually covers that. So we have a business plan already made up. And what the operations was, one of the things that was a key operation is the equipment. The location didn't matter. It was the equipment because the main aim is to produce good coffee, right? So equipment of making coffee, which includes the coffee maker and the grinder for the coffee beans. Some of the equipment, you need fridge, you need storage area and all this. So those are the equipment that they thought about for it. So those are technology tools. Yeah. Now, why we did it that way? Because there's an operations already going on. So we already knew what equipment we wanted. Secondly is the people. Yeah, the people or the workers who are going to do the job are basically, we needed them to train them up, or we needed to get people who's already been trained. So that was one of the criteria. Yeah, and if you need to be trained, you need to go certain, training number of days and so on. And then we're talking about things like the shift cycles. From what time to what time are we going to open, and how are you going to cover those times? The emphasis was that, because this was the goal, this was the criteria, where the emphasis was not too much to worry about the daytime, because a lot of people, customers, came at night. That's right, yeah. Yeah, so we said, look, we need to cover more at night. The location didn't matter, because as soon as people know where it is, they will come. Right? So we've already built that reputation that they will come to this particular brand or location. So that's part and parcel of the business plan. And then came the other things like approvals from the BCI, the design, the how did we foresee the overlook and then these guys, these experts, my son in particular, they knew the location of the bar, how they would move about, where the location of the storage area was, location even to the extent the location of the toilets meant a lot to them. So we actually got a designer. We decided to get a designer. So that was part of the operations business plan. And then it trickled down to the processes that we needed in terms of salary payment,
People to hire.
people to hire, rental payment, and then as I said, I think one of the significant things was actually that the people's shift cycle. That was very significant. So that's in essence the overall thing. HSC, that was part of the management, where one of the key things of HSC of the education is the emergency evacuation plan. So we actually to make sure that the way that people came in wasn't obstructed by any furniture or any permanent things, and then it was the flow was even looked into by the emergency.
Who does most of this work, I suppose the planning and the management work. At first it's the founder, right? I
Yeah.
suppose. And then eventually you want to build a team
Yeah.
and then you pass them on this decision
Yeah.
and management.
So there were three of us.
So, okay, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
stop
we're
you
going
now.
to thanks
So
so much.
my suggestion was don't get offended, it's just conscious of time,
Yeah.
I know we have the topics to cover.
Thanks.
And I would suggest you had one-to-one sessions with Ian on a separate note or different timing or today, because like I said, we have 3 to 4. So make full use of that, so that we can concentrate back to the topics.
Okay,
And apologies
thanks.
for stopping like that.
Good.
So we don't kill it later. So now we'll come back to how to assess the current case of operation in the context of HAC management. And we're going to bring our way to the floor.
Hi, once again, hi everyone. I'm back here. Thank you, here for cutting in at the right time. Always please do cut me in, just in case I go too long-winded. And thank you very much, Ian. Thank you very much, Ian. I think let me just quickly make sure it works. So I'm trying to bring this. It's a short, introduction. I will say, on very briefly. I'll go through HSE. Of course, you understand what HSE is from yesterday. Yeah. It's no other than health, safety, and environment. And how does it impact business operations? I like how Ian has mentioned that under HSE management, when you put on the board, he says, why is HSE management necessary? He says no one gets so that no one gets hurt. Yeah, he's talking about injuries, and of course in worst case death. In our room here today, I've spotted there are lots of hazards. Yeah, lots of very common physical hazards. I call it. Tripping and falling is very common. So if you could put your bags in a very correct, there's nothing as correct, but the best position I would say, to eliminate this tripping hazard. Yeah, be mindful about the training tables. It's everywhere around every table. It's okay to keep yourself safe and everyone else. Let me just touch a little bit on that HSE management again from yesterday. So no one gets hurt. That's physically. That's what Ian has covered. But do you know that HSE also covers, so that no one gets hurt mentally? Because getting hurt mentally is something under psychosocial factor of HSE management. So imagine if someone is being, disturbed, mind disturbed, mentally disturbed. I'm pretty sure that person, that employee, will not be able to work, in a safe manner. So it affects safety. So no one gets hurt physically, and no one gets hurt, mentally. Yeah. So mentally, such as bullying, harassment, all these comes under HSE, and of course it has to be managed. Okay. So let me quickly, briefly go through. I know today we have got a heap of, there's a huge agenda I've seen. So I wouldn't talk on here too long. Okay, of course we can always have a one-to-one, at any time. I'll be here the whole day. Okay. So let's move on. All right. So Sheena, anyone have not heard of Sheena? All right. Thank you very much. Where is Sheena? For the rest, it's just right opposite us. Okay, Sheena is actually, of course, government body. It's the Safety, Health, Environment National Authority. And it sounds like a lady's name, Sheena. So Sheena has got something that they have to do. That's only one duty that they have to perform, is to keep our country, our nation, a safe place to work and to live in. That's all. So they live and breathe by that, tagline or motto. Right. I would like to share with you what happens is, this Sheena authority now. It was established, of course, long ago. But of course, the order was signed in 2018 by His Majesty. And what happens is 2 years ago, the order has been revised to be an act. So it's serious, right? So it becomes a Safety, Health and Environment National Authority Act. So if you're found guilty or a business is found guilty under blah blah blah, it will be found under guilty of this Act Chapter 227. So I'm not a lawyer here. So just to, it's about awareness. So what happens is that Sheena has been given all the powers. They have been empowered to do the enforcement around our nation and covering all industries. Okay, next. Well, they are there to enforce this WSHO, I call it, because when we talk about health, safety, and environment, we are talking no other than workplace safety, health, and environment. So it's anything about the workplace. So under this order, organizations or businesses are to comply with simple regulations. Simple, right? The workplace safety and health order is a document consisting of only 74 pages and only 64 sections. I know it's a lot. I mean, if you're going to read, it's like a document. It's like tenancy agreement, okay? But, of course, I would say lawyers will understand every single line of it. For us, yes, if you can understand 50%, that's good enough. But basically, over here, who runs a factory here? All right, great. Okay, fantastic. So those who run factories, you belong to this category. You see where the green bar is? Well, other workplaces, which means anything, including Ian's cafe that is going to open. Yeah, he will fall under this other workplaces, because everyone's workplace is different. I mean, that's our business, place of business. But every place of business, you have people working in there. So every other person's workplace is different. So I cannot say that he or she is going to his or her office, but he or she is going to his or her workplace. So everybody has got a workplace. So all other businesses will have to comply with 5 regulations. So I'll just take you through very quickly. The first one is no other than just all the compoundable offences regulations. The second one is there's a need to report incidents. Okay, that's the regulation. Yes.
Quick question, where can I find information about all of this? And if I have a farm, which one do I fall under?
Okay, if you have got a farm, you could actually you are falling in between the other places and the factories. Okay, you can look for all this information in Sheena. So it's www.sheena.gov.bm. Okay, so I'll quickly move forward here. Yeah, I'll speak to you on a one-to-one as well. The second one is you need to report incidents. Okay, of course, the guidelines are there in Sheena's website. The third one is about risk management. So every business has to manage the risk, well. Okay, you have to look at all foreseeable risks, anything that could be preventable. The fourth one would be to have WSH, means Workplace Safety and Health Committees. So you have to, form committees. Okay, that depends if you have, if you have got 50 or more persons ordinary at work. So if you've got less than 50 people, including yourself as an owner, yeah, perhaps you can do away with this, but it's of course a good practice to have, set up this WSH committee. So it's a HSE committee. And last but not least, of course, you have to comply with the first aid regulations, which means, any provisions for first aid. So okay, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we are in business, or we are planning to open up a business, you have to take into consideration 5 of these. Okay, 5 of these to comply with this. Of course, if you own a factory, you have to look at whether you fall under this. What's the size of your factory, and of course, factory is a facility. Of course, there are other general provisions and regulations. Yeah. All right. So of course, this is all in gas facilities. You're looking at a total of 9. So if you're just running anything other than a factory, you just look at this 5 for the current order. Of course, Sheena will update this from time to time. So this is the latest, right? This is what I have to share. And next, you might want to know that to manage health and safety, it is always good to have a health and safety management system. So HSE management is done by a health and safety management system. And our country here requires, or Sheena requires us to have this 14 elements, 14 elements in our management system. Of course, it includes safety policy, so you have to have a policy in the beginning. And of course, you have safety practices, all the way group meetings, everything, including emergency preparedness. Okay? So there are lots of things here. Of course, these slides will be shared to you in your LMS. Okay? So these are the things that we have to be aware of. Okay? That these are 14 elements and not missing every single one of it. Of course, you can work on these one by one and fill up your entire document. Okay? Next, I would just like to highlight, you see, it is a must, okay? under the order, under section 12, that there is this duties of employers, which means if you own a business, you are an employer. And that duty is exercising your duty of care. Every employer has to exercise his or her duty of care towards employees, towards your workers. Okay? So it's like you looking after a kid and a child, because they come to work in one piece. You are there to assure that they are able to go in that single one piece, not scratched, okay, not injured. So not losing a finger or etc. Okay, so of course you have to provide all these things here. Of course, from procedures, training, supervision, emergency arrangements, like Ian has mentioned earlier. Even the HSE management is very important right at the beginning during his business plan. Okay, of course, the penalty at this moment is employees that are failing to exercise their duty of care. You could be fined. Not so much, right? It's not more than 5,000. But the worst thing is, of course, 6 months imprisonment or both. But the enforcement is not so super strict right now that I've not seen any CEO or owner going to prison for this moment.
But the fines have been enforced.
Yes, the fines have been enforced, but not more than. So if they like you, they'll just charge. Well, they'll just fine you 500. Okay?
Maybe like one letter first.
Yes, they would. They would. There is a remedial order before stop work order comes in.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yes,
start with that.
please.
This is from my working together with Sheena, and also from experience. Currently, they don't actually post a fine immediately. It's like a warning letter,
Warning.
yeah, or a remedial order. They call it. If they feel it's really unsafe, they should stop work order. But the stop work order is only specific to that particular activity. If you're working at height and you're not safe and you don't have any provisions for safety, they will should stop working for working times.
So how is this identified or triggered? Is there like supervision on site? How do they identify or trigger this stop work order based on what?
Based on your compliance with the law, if you're not complying, based on the risk, the level of risk of that particular activity.
What happened for me is that Sheena Pompai visited my factory. So they come over, they assess, the assess of the HSE expect. If it's not so serious, there's no
Or is
remedy.
the assessment not like worker fall down, break his arm?
Yeah.
Is this trigger?
Yes, it will trigger. If there's an accident
You have to report.
and it's that severe, they will stop the work and investigate.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's a triggering point. Thanks, Ian, for sharing, and of course, thanks for sharing as well. Of course, Sheena will actually come and inspect your workplaces. Of course, drop in without an appointment, and of course, they will inspect. Of course, they will give warnings first. Warnings, remedial orders. Before when it's more serious, of course, you're looking at stop work orders. Of course, if you still do not comply with all the necessary changes, that's where they will slap the organization with a fine. Okay, so they are going in a very good, slow step by step kind of thing. So this is what we have to do, right? For our employees, exercising our duty of care. But you see, then a lot of people, a lot of businesses do argue that it is not fair that if a worker that you mentioned gotten injured, it's because of your fault, right? So fingers go pointing around. But this piece of legislation, I'd like to bring you to the next one. Under section 15, you see, if organizations or business owners have implemented HSE, and if you have exercised your duty of care and you are able to prove it, document it, okay, what happens is that people at work, means your workers, your employees, have to, no choice, to comply to, they have got to, have that duty to work safely and to cooperate with the procedures that we have set in place. So it's fair. Yeah, it's very fair. So in order for this to, take off, to happen in section 15, section 12, we have to look at this first. So it is only right that we should provide, our duty of care. Only then this section 15 can come in if any, any debate arises. Yeah. So when you have exercised duty of care, then of course section 15, duties of persons at work will automatically come in, where every employee has to work safely, comply with order. I will just give you an example. Like let's say in the case of construction, okay, Of course, if the construction, the owner of business has given safety gears like protective equipment, PPE, hard hats, okay, safety boots. If the worker is not putting them on, and just putting them for display, what happens is that is of course not cooperating with the employer, and that would actually the fine would be about $1,000 for those workers.
Just want to clarify, this is lawyer speaker. The persons at work. It's not only workers and employees. It's anybody who is at work. If you're a business owner and you're at the workplace and doing work, you fall under this category of persons at work. A person can hold two or more roles. One is being a person at work. Secondly, being an employer. The other roles include occupying the place as an occupier. If you're a manufacturer, your role also includes being a manufacturer. So bear in mind that the law has a lot of roles stated, and when we talk about persons at work, don't just look at it as just a worker or employee. It includes us, business owners, because we are working. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? So,
thank you very much. So, yes.
For this section, it's talking about the employers and also the employees. Then how about the third party? Say we're dealing with customers. Is there anything covered for that?
yes.
Yes.
So if I'd like to clarify that, persons at work, your subcontractor comes to work in your workplace to provide you with service, they fall under persons at work. The person employing or the subcontractor employees are employers.
That includes the customers as well. No.
Customers is under a different policy, which you actually how you manage HSE, because you should ensure that the processes, the work processes, whatever your business does, does not affect not only your workers. That's number one priority we're looking at under workplace safety and health, but also activities, your activities, that could affect others. It could be your customers, it could be your neighbors. Right? It could be your you may be running a factory, but who are your neighbors? It may be residential, okay? Objects might be flying, across. Yeah. So it's your duty, of course, the second part, other than actually exercising your duty, care, you would also extend it further to people that might be affected by your activities. Yes.
In the case, when like one factory is situated near another complex,
Alright.
or maybe they just neighbors what happened to Long side,
Alright, okay.
because there are a lot of
Yes.
yes. So if the HSE is actually practiced by outside the business, but the neighbors are not, how does that covers them from not being affected by this?
Okay, this is a very good question. The thing is that law side, of course, is doing the right thing. Well, the neighbors, I won't say it's not doing the right thing, but they are perhaps not doing the right thing yet.
Yeah.
So law side will have to champion this. If for example, there's no, let's say, this assembly point, law side could actually, designate one first to show an example to the neighbors. But so long as the law side is not, doing anything that will harm lots of neighbors in the first case. Yeah, that's the most important. That's the right thing. Regardless of one, because when you are managing your health and safety, workplace health and safety, you are trying to manage your own workplace first. So you are not managing your neighbors. So you can't be putting your nose into your neighbors' business and tell them how to run it. Yeah. So long as you have done the right thing, whatever activities that you do are not affecting your employees, and also activities on the neighbors.
So this order only affects the workplace, or because sometimes the workplace
It
then
affects
on
the
top,
business.
it's the temporary residential for the staff, right? So the workplace is fine, easy, whatever. But then on top, second floor or the first floor,
It's for your workers.
for the workers who stay there.
Yeah. Correct. So thank you for that, because you see, you still have to exercise your duty of care for your employees, right? whether they're at work or they are, off work, but
Yeah.
it's your duty of care because it's where you house them. If you choose to house them right above that shop lot, you still have to exercise that duty of care to your employees because your employees are also like how you care for them. Yeah. Yes. Ian has got
Probably, yeah, probably will not fall, it will also fall under the Employees Act. Yeah, because I've got, my dad had a restaurant, and the employee stays upstairs. Okay, so the labor department will visit that every now and then. Okay, so again, that falls under the Employees Act of the labor. Okay, but as our duty of care, is that their welfare is part of our
welfare is our concern.
No, what I mean is, they actually, yeah, I understand for the list of employers, they take care, but then usually employers don't, I understand the section 15, but then usually employers, after off work, right? I mean, the current itself, they're paid, a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to the department, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But then HSC for the business is fine. Alright. And then they also set up like fire extinguishers, blah blah blah,
Yes,
like
correct.
as required by
Because
BOMA.
it's part of your duty of care for your employees. I mean, your employees, especially your foreign employees that you're housing them here, you have to provide that duty of care right throughout to them.
Yeah, but then if they don't care about the HSC,
But okay, for the living quarters, remember the order, this is, we're following on this. The order covers workplace. A workplace is defined as your place of work.
yeah.
Yeah? Where you normally work, where people normally work, and so on. So a workplace includes the training center, because this is where we work, we got our training, for people working here. It does not include homes and living quarters outside. However, the living quarters will fall under the FSO, fire safety order, to make sure all provisions of safety, fire and so on. It also falls under the employment order, employment act, where we are responsible towards the welfare of the city. Yeah, so I hope that clarifies.
Yeah, that clarifies it, correct? Yeah. Correct. Yeah, so of course the employment order comes in, of course, who are the stakeholders of the chief, of course the labor department is also part of the stakeholders. So of course there was a version. So of course if we start off as doing our business and we have exercise our duty of care, if we extend it until the quarters and the accommodation, you would have already hit two birds with one stone and covering them employment act. In providing them all the welfare that we need to provide. So alright, next one, let's perhaps in your own groups, there are 3 groups. I'll give you about 5 minutes to discuss, or you will write down what are the HSE challenges associated with operating a business, or perhaps typically your business. Right, 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes. You could discuss and write it down on a piece of paper. And you put some issues. Oh, that's a paper on the table. All right, great. All right, and every group will share with me 3. Yeah, 3 that you think are the biggest challenges, biggest HSE challenges when it comes to operating businesses. Let's take a look at it. awareness. Yeah.
Everyone is familiar with the order. You're familiar with the law? No? Do you know the law? Yes, okay. This law in the top.
I'm very open.
If you're a lawyer,
We only measure it in occasionally, we don't know this one actually is a fact.
come up with anything. Maybe if you've got one really good and you agree that that is a common challenge, we'll put them up in the board. Yeah. We can recommend that. What do you think is your challenge? I mean, when you're operating a business, what do you think your HSE challenges are?
The China, when we apply for the fund, there's a China requirement. So it means product science.
Oh yeah, science builds up awareness.
For this number is and then certificate. So that's all the things we did as a new startup.
Right.
But now we not a startup anymore. So we want to form like a work team, and then we want to comply with the HSE so that we can form the appropriate team. So maybe the farm workers dealing with plants, they will have a different HSE from the workers who deal with heavy tools.
So it's a lack of awareness when it comes to compliance.
Yeah, so I think
Probably the registration laws for the HSE where they have orders and for business owners. Yeah, for business owners, we cannot all the orders and
2 more minutes? Yeah.
where she they came in trying to understand first of course they come into this but then they come and assess some are even they are just based on belief, right? For us it's not practical, like certain things they may not go when you do it physical, right? It's not practical. Yeah, for instance we do welding, our station for welding machines have to be
Alright, time's up everyone. Thank you very much. I think it's a very good discussion. I'm sure this could still continue later on.
Guys, can we move to Central? Calvin is talking to you.
Alright, thank you very much, HR. Alright, Central now. Alright, from the last group, I've got 2 points from these 2 groups in front. About the third group, have you got anything to share? Just perhaps 1 or 2? Yes?
Okay, budget wise.
Your budget wise, okay. Finance, okay, budget wise. Anything else from anyone here? This group? Yes? Any more?
workers and laborers cooperation with culture.
Okay, culture differences. Let's talk about culture. Culture issues. That side, yeah. Anything? All right. No. Good. All right. So with that, I'll wrap that up. I think most of you would have, got those common challenges which I got this. The HSE challenges for SMEs, compliance with regulations. Yeah, I think it's due to a lack of awareness. Of course, lack of awareness of safety and health, and perhaps your lack of that expertise. Yeah. Of course, next it's lack of formal safety policies. If you don't have a policy, of course, that becomes an issue. Cultural barriers, somebody mentioned cultural, right? Yes, so cultural barriers. Yes, cultural barriers you mentioned, fantastic. So cultural barriers to safety, inadequate safety training, again, it's related. Yeah, of course, if you do not have any training, even the basic, first aid, if it's, you have not done that, of course, that's something that you missed out. Limited emergency preparedness. So actually, you did your very good planning for your business, that you have even looked into emergency preparedness. Because emergency preparedness, if in case of an emergency evacuation, how are your employees, your workers, and sometimes plus your visitors or the customers are going to be able to escape to safety, right? So last but not least, yes, somebody mentioned budget, yeah, perhaps there might be limited resources such as in terms of financial and human, because you've got you need expertise in that. Alright, so it all falls under training. Of course, financial wise, safety is definitely it's not expensive. Okay. Safety is definitely not expensive because every dollar you spend on safety, you are actually saving money. Anybody disagrees with me?
Yeah, yes. disagree. Like for a startup, if we have to spend like $500 just for all the tools, that's a lot. It's not. I mean, even we know that okay, that is for your safety, but it's still a lot for
A
a
lot,
startup.
huh? Okay, so you disagree with me. Anyone else disagree with me first? Yeah.
It's not a disagreement.
No,
even
okay,
if
but
you
partially,
show
we understand. Thank you very much for sharing your point. Yes, I do agree, but the thing is that a bit of storytelling, you see, sometimes, we as business owners, we might be a bit reluctant to spend on that, that safety equipment or that safety, PPE, I call it personal protective equipment. But have you ever thought of if a worker gets injured, let's say finger amputated, what's the cost of that? Is $500 good enough to, compensate that poor worker? I mean, the medical cost, leave alone the medical cost, right? Of course, what if in the worst case, death? I mean, IG talked about, it costs you some money if you've got a foreign, employee worker. What's the cost of sending that person back to, the place of origin in a box? An airplane seat is cheap. You can buy economy class. You can buy Air Asia. But on the cargo, it costs more than 10 times.
$5,000.
Yeah, you see 5,000. So
And $6,000 for
so the thing over here is, definitely, to have safety is definitely not free. But of course, it's not expensive either, because it's like, why you buy insurance? Let's say if you bought a new car, why you buy insurance? Why you buy insurance for a new car? Just in case it gets damaged, so I don't have to pay for the repairs. If somebody has stolen my car, it's insurance. So it's insurance. You have to protect your organization, of course, exercising your duty of care to protect your workers, your employees. Firstly, that's priority. Secondly, of course, as an insurance, because you have to prove to Sheena that you are exercising your duty of care. So if you do not even spend a single dollar on safety, then how are you going to prove it in terms of any arguments, any conflict, then you are unable to prove that you have done your part as exercising your duty of care. And I hope that.
What are what's the acts that when a company doesn't want to do the
That section?
the road section?
Yes, that one. Correct. So so we have to, as a business, we have to be showing or displaying that we are exercising our duty of care. In which ways? Either you spend money buying safety equipment, PPE, or you do up your policies, you have your safety management plan, your procedures. So of course it's money because you're spending time working on that, as part of the plan, as to how you're going to manage safety. Yeah? Great. Thank you very much everyone for your input. So of course we can discuss this further, we will definitely have more time with this. I will hop on to the front here. Yes.
My question.
Oh yes, your question. Did you mention about
Why is it enforced on companies but the government?
okay. Do you want to answer that first?
Yeah. Okay. It's actually enforced on all workplaces. There are certain workplaces under exempted, which includes the police, military, but all the government departments are included. So they
But then it's usually enforced on companies, right? They'll go check and everything. But then when it comes to our safety and I used to work at the youth center.
All right.
There's a lot of things that can be.
Yes, it can be. I believe every government department now is actually gearing up. They have sent a lot of personnel for training and everything. And definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, why is it really enforced on?
Okay, I have a simple answer. It's similar to the halal certificate.
Yeah.
So actually, every food supplier towards Muslims are required for halal certificate. The thing is, most garage tidak. It's a matter of practicality. Originally, according to the policy, it has to be everyone. But practical wise, for the department, they don't have enough manpower. So their priority is the ones that have a commercial demand.
So it's like power.
Yeah. So same for the safety, safety yes, it's supposed to be for everyone, but the focus is on the people that really matters because there will be a manpower kurang. If there's enough manpower, they'll probably enforce to the smaller companies as well. But for now, yang small companies tak tangan.
Also, to answer you technically on that one, when we look at the safety risks, yeah, the statistics. From 2013 up to last year, and last year,
10 years.
yeah, about 1 decade. How many deaths at work were recorded? You know?
Yes.
Yes.
That was.
Oh, that's so much.
Banyak Di Brunei. How many deaths?
Burmese death.
How many deaths?
Two. Wow, that's very high. That's
You guys make up your mind too much so little.
Yeah,
In 1 decade.
No, in 1 decade.
In 1 decade.
Yeah, 1 decade, 10 years. You know, from all industries, all businesses
in Brunei.
in Brunei.
This one has got the car accidents of 30 per year, so 300.
Oh, not right.
I know, but it's not
Car accidents?
Maybe lah.
It's actually, what's the figure?
The total death is killer.
Yeah,
74.
74.
In 1 decade.
In 1 decade, that means that every year, on average, we are killing people at work, literally killing, because these are fatalities.
Yeah.
Killing people at work at 7 people, 7 humans per year.
Yeah. That's a lot. And that's it's not from our industry.
And this one is coming from which industry you think?
Food.
Construction.
Highest, yeah.
Yeah, the highest is construction. In fact, oil and gas, even though it's a high risk activity, there have been recorded very, very few deaths. This one, out of construction contributes 60% of the fatalities, which equates to about 42 deaths over the 10 years.
So Shina focused on
Exactly. And the main cause of these deaths are people, workers who are falling from height. Majority is people falling from height.
Or because they don't wear the.
It's not only that.
Yeah, because you know it's all in the list. It's all in the list. All the barriers there. So if your activities involve working at height, you might really want to seriously think that you are very similar to this construction industry.
That's why the focus is on construction companies. And they're working closely with ABCI, to make sure that construction companies are actually more focused on this.
But then, kalau macam itu, because from my experience, we ever check the building here, this the block over there, with the fire department, and then I was there. So I asked them if you want to check the room. So they said we don't. Because we don't very outside. But that was like, we did check it yesterday.
and then call the
Hey, check this out. I really like your conversation. It was really interesting and a lot of things come out with this. But just conscious of time, you're gonna have a break so you can continue the conversation during the break.
Don't lapar.
You're gonna- We have 15 minutes.
20 minutes.
So please, you can continue the conversation during the break by all means. At the same time to enjoy the food. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
So, break.
Ready now?
For example, we have
Coffee and the glass. Oh, you don't know, okay, you don't know, juice.
One side, of course, yes, I know.
Maybe
Jadi khusus nasi lemak ayam, but we get the nasi ayam. Nice breakfast is anything focus on roti. But number one is nasi ayam. Ada jenis namanya. My ex-wife somehow gets addicted. Situated anybody, so and then you put everything out and they work around the same place to the amount of 20 people. This is your
And they have to really connected to You know what else is going to say? He did it anyway.
Yeah, government has
Budget, right? This one, I'm doing this because the more people get this is the thing.
You're right, because surrounded
When I read this information, so I start with the paperwork. Dia cuma pasal which is true.
yang correctly sana.
That's why I said the gospel. Yeah. Tapi gospel dia betul. Dia belum puas lah. Someone said stop at distance.